When we think about how history is taught around the world, Germany's approach to World War II stands out as both rigorous and deeply reflective. In German schools, the teaching of World War II isn't just about memorizing dates, battles, or famous leaders. Instead, it's a comprehensive exploration of the causes, consequences, and moral complexities of one of the darkest periods in human history. From the very beginning, students are encouraged to understand the broader social, political, and economic forces that led to the rise of Nazism, giving them a foundation to see how ordinary people, institutions, and systems can contribute to both good and evil. It's not a sanitized version of history. Students are presented with the stark realities, and that honesty is central to the entire learning process. Teachers in Germany place a strong emphasis on ethical reflection. For example, when discussing the Holocaust, lessons aren't limited to statistics or dates of deportations. Students examine survivor testimonies, letters, diaries, and photographs to grasp the human impact of those events. This approach ensures that history isn't just a series of abstract facts, but a living story that challenges students to think critically about morality, personal responsibility, and the consequences of indifference. Students are asked difficult questions. How could so many people allow atrocities to occur? What role did propaganda, fear, or societal pressure play? And perhaps most importantly, what lessons can be drawn to prevent such horrors in the future? These are not easy discussions, and they're designed to push students to engage emotionally and intellectually with the past. Another key aspect of this curriculum is its chronological and thematic depth. Students learn about the rise of the Nazi regime, the erosion of democratic institutions, the indoctrination of youth, and the global consequences of the war, including the impact on neighboring countries. But lessons also go further, highlighting resistance movements within Germany and the stories of those who risked everything to oppose injustice. This balanced approach helps students understand the complexity of human behavior in extreme circumstances, and it ensures they see history not as black and white, but full of nuance and moral challenge. Importantly, German schools foster a culture of accountability without creating unnecessary shame. The goal isn't to make students feel guilty for past events, but to ensure they recognize the importance of critical thinking, empathy, and civic responsibility. Students are encouraged to reflect on their role as informed citizens who can question authority, resist prejudice, and promote justice. This mindset, developed from a young age, is one reason why Germany places such importance on civic education alongside historical knowledge. Finally, the teaching is supported by extensive resources, from textbooks written specifically for German classrooms to national memorials, museums, and documentaries. Many schools organize trips to concentration camps, memorial sites, or local museums, allowing students to experience history firsthand. These experiences reinforce classroom lessons, making the past tangible and emotionally resonant, which helps the lessons stick far beyond the classroom walls. In the end, Germany's approach to teaching World War II is about more than historical facts. It's about shaping thoughtful, responsible citizens who understand the weight of history and the importance of making ethical choices. By combining rigorous historical study with moral reflection, German schools create a learning environment that challenges students to confront uncomfortable truths, recognize human complexity, and carry forward lessons that are vital for a better future. What makes learning about World War II in German schools particularly unique is not just what students learn, but how they learn it. The approach is highly interactive and encourages reflection, which transforms history from a static subject into a dynamic experience. Instead of just reading from textbooks or memorizing dates and events, students are actively engaged in understanding the human stories behind history. This can mean participating in classroom debates about moral responsibility, analyzing the decisions of historical figures, or discussing the role of ordinary people during the war. The goal is to make history personal and relevant, helping students connect lessons from the past to the ethical challenges they might face in their own lives. A major component of this reflective learning involves first-hand accounts and survivor testimonies. Schools often invite Holocaust survivors or their descendants to speak directly with students, providing a human perspective that can't be captured in books alone. Listening to these stories creates an emotional connection and helps students internalize the consequences of prejudice, discrimination, and blind obedience. Similarly, students might work with diaries, letters, photographs, or even local archives to investigate individual experiences during the war. This hands-on exploration encourages critical thinking, asking students to consider not just what happened, but why it happened and how people responded. It's an approach that builds empathy and encourages learners to consider the impact of their own actions in society. Museums and memorial visits are another integral part of the learning experience. Field trips to historical sites such as concentration camps, memorials, or museums give students a tangible understanding of the scale and human cost of the war. Standing in these places, seeing the artifacts, and reflecting on the stories of those who lived through it, transforms abstract facts into deeply meaningful lessons. Teachers guide students through these experiences, prompting thoughtful discussion and personal reflection, which reinforces the idea that history is not just something to be studied, but something to be understood on a human level. Projects and group work also play a big role. Students are often asked to create presentations, write research papers, or even produce short documentaries about specific aspects of World War II. These assignments encourage creativity and collaboration while requiring students to engage critically with their sources. By conducting research, interpreting evidence, and presenting findings to their peers, students develop a deeper, more nuanced understanding of historical events. They learn not just to absorb information, but to analyze it, question it, and communicate it effectively. Discussion and debate are emphasized as well, giving students a safe space to grapple with challenging questions. They might explore ethical dilemmas faced during the war, or discuss how propaganda and ideology influenced choices on both personal and societal levels. Teachers encourage students to listen to differing perspectives, consider the consequences of actions, and think critically about the moral and political lessons history can teach us. This process not only deepens their understanding of World War II but also equips them with critical thinking skills that are valuable far beyond the classroom. Ultimately, the interactive and reflective methods used in German schools ensure that learning about World War II is an active, thought-provoking experience. Students don't just memorize events, they engage with them, reflect on their meaning, and develop a sense of responsibility for understanding the past. This approach nurtures empathy, critical thinking, and ethical awareness, ensuring that the lessons of history are not only remembered, but also applied in meaningful ways in students' lives today. By combining research, discussion, first-hand testimony, and immersive experiences, German schools turn the study of World War II into a transformative journey that shapes not just knowledge, but character.